So let's have a look at this app. So the app is available to download for Apple or Android. You can see it's here on my Apple device, and I'm going to just load it up. So it's important to mention that right now I'm actually sat at home. I'm in my front office. I'm not next to the car, and neither am I really next to my garage. I'm a few meters away, to be fair. The reason I wanted to show it in this way is because I want to show how the convenience of this app does make it a lot easier to maintain and look after a lithium battery. As I said at the start, this is kind of where I went wrong, and also one of the challenges with these batteries is kind of looking after them, and part of it is people's laziness as to why they die, so as in my case. So what you can see is it's actually scanned and it's detected two devices, and I'm going to connect to my device. So we'll just let that connect. And what it's doing right now is doing a bit of a diagnostics, checking over the battery and then recording and pushing that back to the app. In this case, what you see is it's asking if I want to put an update onto my battery. So there's a new firmware update that's being supplied by LiteBlox. That's something that they often do. It's quite nice that LiteBlox have taken the initiative to not only build a pretty cool battery and a pretty cool app, but also to continually develop it and update it. And that's one of the nice things I like about them. It's not a case of build it, sell it, ship it. They are continually evolving the product and pushing those updates to its user base. In this case, I'm not gonna update because it's going to take me a few minutes, so I'm going to do that later. And what we see on the app is a pretty easy to use user interface. You're getting the most of the data that you're actually wanting. The first bit is the actual current charge on the battery. So right now I'm 71%, which is pretty good. Obviously, if you're starting to see that drop, you'd be able to see some red indicators there from a warning perspective, but the battery is pretty healthy right now. You can also see a small draw on the battery. So that might be to do with my alarm, might be to do with some of the ancillaries I've got connected into the car, but you can see what that draw is right now. There's two bits to probably mention, which is the intelligent kill switch. That's critically why I kind of love this solution. It just makes it super easy to turn the battery or disconnect the battery from the car and ensure the longevity of that battery. So let's say I'm going to be going on holiday or putting the car in hibernation, and just before I leave the house to go on my holiday, I want to kind of kill the battery, disconnect it. So it's a pretty simple thing to do. I just click the kill switch, and what you can see here is immediately the draw on the battery drops dramatically, and you've got a user off signal there. Again, this just shows how simple it is to disconnect the battery and therefore improve the longevity of the battery in total. So instead of you having to go to the garage, kind of flick a kill switch, or instead of going to the garage and having to literally disconnect the battery, get the socket set out, you can just do it with a flick of a switch. Now, to turn it back on, again, you just flick the switch and you can see the battery is now come back to life. So for me, and the issues I faced with keeping the car battery's longevity, and so for me this was perfect. You know, it's simple, convenient, it works, and it ensured that I had no more excuses of laziness because I just didn't want to go to the garage and faff around disconnecting or reconnecting. The other bit to probably mention is this anti-theft. This is quite handy. So let's say you're parking your car somewhere outside and you want the alarm on. You don't want to disconnect the battery completely, but what you are wanting to do is maybe add some additional protection, and that's where the anti-theft piece comes in. So you can flick that. There is still the drawer on the car. There is still the alarms, the central locking, etc. But if someone actually seems to get into the car, turns the alarm off and tries to start the car, the actual kind of physical connection of being able to start a car is avoided. And the way that you kind of turn that on and off is very simple, in the same ways that we did with the kill switch. A few other things to probably show. You can look at some of the history of the battery. We talked about the firmware updates. So again, it's really nice to see LiteBlox kind of pushing those updates out to its customer base. You can also see device information, which I'm probably going to hash out my password, but you can see the serial number, you can see firmware update, you can also see quite interesting things such as my runtime. So the battery's been in live with me for say 127 days or so, of which out of those 127 days active it's been about 2.5 days in total. So that, quite useful information. The other cool thing that I liked was if you do ever have a problem with the battery and it's not easy to detect why, you can actually send data from the app that's pulling data from the actual battery, and that data can get over to LiteBlox and they can do further diagnostics and see how they can help rescue your battery or look at remedying the problem that you've actually got. So really cool things that you can do there. And again, this is kind of why I've been so impressed with LiteBlox. They're just not standing still. They're continually evolving, and the convenience of this app just makes having a lithium battery and living with a lithium battery just so much easier.